Real estate agents, Facebook just made a massive change to how Reels are viewed on the platform, and Facebook's already the biggest platform for real estate agents to market. So we're going to dive into exactly what this change means for you and your business and how to capitalize it so you can see the best results possible. And if you don't know me, my name is Jarvis. I run Jarvis Media Consolidated. We've generated some great results for real estate agents down below, which you can check out. And all this information is where we get the strategy that helps you understand what to do on social media to see better results for your real estate business. So let's jump right into what Facebook is doing. So an article from Social Media Today was posted yesterday that stated Facebook adds topic search recommendations and friend likes to Reels. So just quickly diving into this, Facebook has announced some new updates to boost Reels engagement, including indicators on your posts that your friends have liked and algorithmic improvements designed to surface newer views faster. So this is really interesting. It's Facebook following in TikTok's footsteps, just again doubling down on the power of short form content. Now, this is always a big point of contention I see with real estate agents. A lot of agents still don't want to be posting videos or filming videos for themselves at all. They simply want to just have videos go up that either show properties or just avoid videos altogether and stick to traditional marketing. And here's why I think that's a mistake. These platforms are going to continue to double down on what's working. Now, you might say, hey, listen, I've never been a social media person. I'm not that kind of an agent. That's not my gist, right? Totally cool. I appreciate that. Here's the problem though. These social media platforms use data to make decisions based off of what is getting the most attention. So Facebook doesn't do this just because they like Reels or because they like short form content. No, actually, they probably would have preferred it if short form content was never big, because then TikTok wouldn't have gotten out of control and this huge competitor that now have to deal with. But instead, Facebook is smart, just like all the other platforms are smart. They have some of the smartest people in the world working on their platforms. They know that people are enjoying this content more, so they need to double down, not because they want to, but because the market demands it. So when agents want to stay away from social media content, I understand it, but the problem is that your audience is more and more investing in the short form content, and you're just giving more opportunity to other agents to benefit from this. But let's jump a little bit further into the article, because there's another improvement to these Reels that's going to make a big difference for you as well. So obviously this article goes on to state how Facebook is going to get more people spending time on watching Reels based off of this change, and how this change already existed on Instagram and has obviously been seeing some great results, which is why they're doubling down on this on Facebook as well. And again, Facebook is actually a bigger platform for real estate agents than Instagram is, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but I think one of the biggest reasons is that the age demographic leans a little bit higher on Facebook, and there's just a bigger user base on Facebook, believe it or not, in the United States. So there's more people there. They tend to skew a little bit older, which only really means that they just have more of the older audience, which are better home buyers or sellers in this country anyway. And there's multiple ways that you can engage with people. So you can have link-based posts, you can have videos, you can have lives, you can have just image posts. You can do everything on Facebook. You can have just text-based posts. You can build groups. You have everything at your disposal. So it allows you to actually engage with these people in better ways, in more deeper ways, and create a funnel right inside of one platform that can help you get more business, which is always nice because it's just simplifying the process for real estate agents. So this is a feature that is also, of course, being something that is going to be another mirror of what TikTok is doing, which is basically the ability to show a little bit of a display at the bottom of a video. You can see right here that shows more about that topic. So you see the example here, they have soup dumpling recipes. This video comes up where it's talking about dumplings, and then of course it has that little thing at the bottom. If you're familiar with TikTok, this is very common, where you can just go ahead and click on that little bit and it's going to just show up with more topics about that main video that you're watching here. Now, this is also more of a rabbit hole design, right? And this is something TikTok has been really smart about, which is that they want to get people on the platform. They want to keep people there as long as possible. Platform's entire business model, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, doesn't matter. They all want to do the same thing, which is get people on the platform and keep them there as long as possible. Because the longer you stay there, the more ads you see, which means the more money they can make. That's the entire business model. So when you have these reels that are getting people's attention, yes, you can automatically in your feed put up more of those reels, but they can't just like flood your feed with like dumpling videos if that's what you're looking for. But what they can do is they can give you an option when you're watching a certain video with a certain topic to say, hey, click on this and you're just going to get a feed of specifically just dumpling videos if you're into this right now. Now, here's why this is so helpful for agents. Let's say that you're running a video about, hey, like the best homes in Atlanta, Georgia, or the best neighborhoods in Atlanta, Georgia, and you're doing a quick reel where you're talking about this, or you're giving, your 2 cents on things that you would recommend for people who are interested in buying a home in Atlanta, Georgia, well, then you can have this little thing at the bottom here, which is going to say, hey, more videos about Atlanta, Georgia. So this is where it's going to be so beneficial to have a very specific few topics that you niche down on. Because if you can dominate one of these content subjects, where if they click on, what are the best homes in Atlanta, Georgia, and you have some amazing videos where you're going through that topic and you're filling that whole topic feed with all the best content, you can dominate that. So it basically makes a step where people can see your content, or by the way, somebody else's content about the best homes, the best neighborhoods in Atlanta. They can click on that option and then suddenly go to a feed where you can dominate that feed, and it kind of takes people away from the feed that you have to compete with every single content creator under the sun that person may be familiar with on Facebook. And you can actually get to a spot where you just get people on a feed just looking at real estate in your certain market, or just looking at, the best neighborhoods to move into from out of state in Atlanta, or whatever it might be. So this allows you the opportunity to captivate and dominate a feed that is just going to start existing for Facebook, which is super cool, and one of those rare opportunities that doesn't always pop up, where you can just kind of be somebody who might not be super familiar with this, but because it's going to be new for the platform, you have basically an early adopter advantage if you start using this content now and start dominating that content now. So just to kind of close out this article here, we'll read up right from after that new topic. So as you can see in this example, Facebook will now append AI recommended topics matching the video, like soup dumpling recipes, and you can go straight to that topic from that button. So in the first update is like on IG, and the second is like TikTok. So that first one, we're getting more content recommended to us from friends or family who are seeing that kind of content. That's very Instagram-like. It's already existed there. It's actually something that exists a lot on LinkedIn too, if you notice that, if you're on that platform a lot. But this is going to be far more like TikTok, where you're actually seeing these topics that are generated automatically by AI that you can then go down that rabbit hole of just a very specific topic, which again, for agents who are using social media to get in front of an audience that is looking to buy or sell homes, and where we don't really need to get millions and millions of views, we just need to get a few of the right views to get trust and build a level of connection with those buyers or sellers so that they want to work with us as their agent. That is a really powerful tool, because if you can dominate that feed, you can just become like every other video that person searches up in that feed, which is just very, very powerful. So jumping back here, so Facebook says it is also improving its Reels recommendation algorithm with a focus on highlighting new content. So that's very cool too. And this also goes into a little bit more about strategy, but let's read what their actual quote is here. Facebook continues to be the home of all types of video, and our recommendations will help ensure you see fresher content in the formats you enjoy most, regardless of length. If you prefer longer videos, you're in luck. Reels over a minute make up a quarter of reels produced by creators with over 10,000 followers and over 50% of watch time on Facebook. Our recommendation engine is also now surfacing 50% more reels from creators published that day, so you see the newest content faster. Facebook also notes that it's looking to improve its recommendation engine so that it understands your interests faster. That last part there is very much so TikTok. TikTok's very famous for having a feed that just adapts to what you're looking for very, very quickly, and Facebook obviously sees the power in that and is investing in that further. Now, what's also cool though is that Facebook kind of alludes to a couple of different things in that main quote there. So they say, first and foremost, if you prefer longer videos, you're in luck. Reels over a minute take up a quarter of reels produced by creators with over 10,000 followers and over 50% watch time on Facebook. Now, that's really interesting, because when Reels first started coming out and when TikTok was really big, it was very much so short form content. Now it's simply kind of short form, kind of medium form content, which is interesting, but really it's just showing that the shorter version content is still really powerful. But what's nice is that you don't have to just be like a perfect editor or perfect creator of content where you're making content super, super quickly anymore. And you have to edit it so that you have high retention rate, or at least you have insanely high retention rate within the first like 20 seconds. You can have some slightly longer videos and still see some great results, as they're noting on Facebook, which makes sense because that platform kind of leans a little bit closer to YouTube, like how Instagram leans a little bit closer to TikTok. It makes sense that they would be, not too punishing of a slightly longer form content, because at the end of the day, if people want longer form content, that's going to get them to stay longer. Facebook's going to invest more in that. But this last part here that they said here too, is our recommendation engine is also allowing the 50% more reels from creators published that day, so you see that content faster. So that's super interesting, which is very different from what the model has been lately. So it used to be, especially on Instagram, it used to be very chronological, right? Where you'd always see the most recent videos posted from your, accounts that you're following first, right? Now, this is very different, where they're going to actually push more towards, hey, we really just want to prioritize the content that's posted that day. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but what it does encourage is more daily interactions, right? You want to kind of get the news of the day, you want to kind of get the most recent updates. And so Facebook leaning into that really illustrates that that is something that's very pressing, which just goes to show you that having a consistent pipeline of content is massively important, especially for short form content where you are getting a bite-sized bit of people's attention every day. You need to be jumping on there frequently, or at least have a consistent distribution of that content across the week, so that you're able to maximize that and actually build up the brand in the mental real estate of the audience's mind, so that when they're ready to buy or sell, you are the first person that comes to mind. And this is basically Facebook telling you exactly how to do that. You need to be more consistent. You need to be posting content because you're going to get a prioritization when your content is posted that day versus future days. So on YouTube, you have this kind of long history of content that your videos can surface for people that have been posted years before. Facebook is doubling down on more recent content, which is again more in line with like the TikTok route and what TikTok is seeing results with. So whether you like that or not, it just shows that you need to be making content consistently, and you need to be constantly staying on top of your pipeline, so that you're not losing out to people who are being more consistent with their content. And by the way, you can't sacrifice on quality. You still need to be making high quality content, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to get people interested and want to work with you, and kind of gets them further down the pipeline. So guys, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video with more updates.